Alejandro, welcome to Halloween Daily. Thank you so much for hanging out and talking to us today.
Thank you, Matt. Happy to be here.
I really enjoyed The Inheritance. I watched it earlier this week, and we talked to your writers just recently, Chris and Joe, about the film and kind of about the origins of the story from their point of view. So I wanted to know from you, when you first read their script, what was it that spoke loudest to you about this take on kind of this subgenre of inheritance movies? We've seen familiar setups before, but this is kind of a new take on it. So what was it that about this take that really made you want to dive in and be a part of this?
I like that it was blending genres, that it was a horror movie, but also a murder mystery, a whodunit, that you're trying to figure out. But I also like that it was like a roller coaster, like there was so much stuff happening all the time that it was just really fun. It was non-stop, which I always enjoy.
And it is a nonstop thrill ride, and it's got supernatural elements, and there's death involved, obviously. But one of the things I love most about it is that it feels kind of old school to me, both in like I said, it's a familiar kind of setup, but also the way you present, I'll say this entity, this thing that's coming. It's very much in shadow for the most part, and I really kind of enjoyed that throwback approach. Can you talk a little bit about shooting that on the day and what went into that?
Oh, that was fun to shoot. We have a shallow guy. We had, and by the way, I'm pretty sure you didn't catch the shadow on all the times it appears before it starts showing up. But like, we had our shadow guy, and I like to hide him in different places in scenes sometimes. Um, but I always knew I wanted that classic approach because of the whole whodunit aspect of the movie, and we were going in this family's old money. We were going for that classic vibe, the kind of locations, even how they dress, that kind of thing. But it was also about having fun. And for a for a big chunk of the film, and in the screenplay it was like that. It was described as a shadow, and I remember in one of the early our early talks, we were talking a lot about this shadow figure and how it would appear, because some of us found that very scary and unsettling. And it was just most of the time it was just old school. This was like a guy dressed as a shadow. If you saw him on set, it was hilarious. Because like we were all talking and there was a shadow guy standing in one corner, like a really skinny, really tall. I'm tall, he was taller. Guy is standing there. Sometimes we would forget about him. But yeah.
Nice. And see, that makes me want to go rewatch it now and look for some of those other times where maybe, like you said, I missed him before it was
I
super
probably
obvious.
I probably for no, it's never super obvious. But I probably forgot about some of those moments. Like I see like everyone I'm talking to today has watched the movie except me. And I remember like in the trailer, I had to go back because there was one of the moments where you see the shadow. I was like, was it there? Oh no, it's not in this shot, it's in another shot. So yeah. But it's
And
there.
and I love also, I won't spoil it, but there's a certain death scene that is happening, and I just again I love kind of the less is more approach where we're not seeing so much what's happening, but you're showing us what's happening in other ways, and of course the audio helps and everything. Um, can you talk a little bit about that shooting and again using other aspects other than what's directly on camera to tell this story?
Are we talking the I'm gonna say it. I mean, there's some of that in the trailer. I think we're talking the one about the one in the water.
Yes, yes.
Okay, here's what happened with that one. The way it was written, it was different, and you saw
Okay.
everything that happened. And I wanted a certain location. I found a swimming pool that was fantastic for that. But then this was when we were planning on shooting in Vancouver, and then we had to move everything to Victoria, and I lost that swimming pool that I loved so much. And the one we had in Victoria was way more shallow. And I needed to rewrite that there, or at least to tell Joe and Chris how to do it. So what I did is I asked production to send me to the hotel one night. I bought a mask and I sat underwater for 1 hour, looking at the swimming pool, looking around me, trying to figure out what can we do here. And I came up with that. I know what movie influenced that, by the way, but that's how I came up with the death. And it's like, if you were looking above the water, it's such a complex stunt that the guys had to pull. It was like several steps. It was like a very, very, it seems easier, like what you're looking at. I like what we see because I think it's something unusual that you don't expect. But I remember shooting, because when we shot that, I was also underwater just because I like having fun. So I jumped into the swimming pool and I was looking down there all the time, moving the camera guy or whatever. But every time I looked up, I was like, holy shit, this is complicated. It was a lot. It was like a really, really, really cool stunt that we were all proud of. I mean, they were all proud. I didn't do anything. I just gave them the idea, and our great stunt team did a fantastic job.
And yeah, it's really effective in the film. And again, it's one of them instances. It sounds like to me that whereas necessity, you know, forced the invention of something that maybe turned out better than anybody
Yeah,
was planning.
absolutely. It was never a less is more thing, at least not in the screenplay. So in the screenplay it was completely different, and you saw everything because everything happened underwater. But we had to pivot and change something, and I really like what we came up with.
And you mentioned some of the inspirations. I'm always curious, as a genre fan, what some of the inspirations were that maybe you consciously did lean into, and maybe at the same time on the other end, some of the tropes of this genre that you wanted to try to avoid.
I don't remember. I mean, it's always so much with me, but I know there were all kinds of influences. Like I know there was one scene that for me was the Raiders of the Lost Ark scene. It's like here we're having fun, and I'm even the one throwing the skeletons and all that in front of the camera. That scene that we were talking about also had like a very particular influence. Uh, there's some of Mike Flanagan there, or James Wan, that kind of thing. Sometimes in the way we approach some scenes, some Guillermo del Toro stuff, that I would show the our people like what I wanted to do. Um, Oh yeah, there's a Guillermo stuff with the blood floating from one of the apparitions. I remember I bought a this was in Victoria, and one day I walked into a comic book store and they had these Devil's Backbone toys, and I bought that, and I was like, and I had it on my desk while I was putting together the movie, and I knew I wanted that blood coming out of the ghost to be like in that way, like the one in that movie. I don't know. I'm always like borrowing from so many people that has done it better than me, that it's hard to remember all of those right now. I also wanted, there was a lot of myself in there, of course, and there were shots that I was like, okay, I want to do that in a single shot because it's it's the best way to sell the trick, like when he's playing pool and the thing that happens with all the balls. That was six of us, and I always say us because like I'm also like a kid in a playground. I like to do a lot of that stuff. Sometimes when you have blood, I'm the one that was pouring the blood because I like to do the stuff myself sometimes. Or this face has to land in front of the camera, so I'm the one moving thing. And indeed, in the pool scene, when he's playing pool, it was, I think it was four, five, six of us hiding behind the camera. And the moment the camera moved, we will all rearrange everything like really fast. And that kind of stuff. I don't know. There's a lot of influences with me always.
Well, and I love hearing that you love getting down and literally getting your hands bloody, so to speak, and
Oh,
and pouring the
absolutely.
blood and doing some of those gags yourself.
I never sit behind the monitor.
Yeah.
I'm always on set. And if you look at the pictures, if you were looking at all the pictures from set, I'm always lying on the floor showing how things happen. And like if by 8 a.m. I'm not lying on the floor blocking a scene, showing the actors how they're gonna be dragged or something, I'm not doing my job. Yeah, I really enjoy that part.
And obviously, you're no stranger to the horror genre. Is this your preferred genre to play in and to get your hands bloody in?
Yeah, I mean, it's not the only thing I want to do, but it's
Yeah.
the only thing I have been doing for the last 10 years, 11 or more. I don't know. I love all kinds of movies. I want to make all kinds of movies, but I seem to be sort of stuck in the horror genre, which is a great place to be stuck, honestly.
Well, and you can do so much with horror. You can layer it in ways
Commentary.
that straight dramas or even comedies don't always work as well for.
No, absolutely. You could with horror. Horror is a great tool for social commentary, and there were some things that we were saying with this movie too. But also, it's what you're saying. When horror is well made, you also have drama. You have moments of levity or flat out comedy. It's sort of like you can have action horror. You can. It's for me, it's the best genre. It's the most complete. You get to exercise all your muscles.
Absolutely, I agree with that. I love that too. I think horror is the best for all those reasons, and you articulated it very well.
I like how
For
you have. I like all your Halloween stuff. Let me see what I have
I was
here.
just going to say before we go, if I could ask you a little bit about the Halloween holiday and what Halloween is for you, and if you celebrate. Okay, there you go.
I have my
Excellent.
Michael Myers mask.
I
This is.
love it.
I have this. I have my Halloween knife.
The
Oh, here.
knife, yes.
I have the knife. I have to be careful with the knife. My kids cannot see it because it's such a good replica, and I don't want them to think they can play with any knife. I have the full Michael Myers thing. I have been the Latino cousin of Michael Myers on Halloween, Miguel Myers.
I love it.
But yeah, and I mean, if I unblur most of the stuff around me are horror props. Some from my own movies, and some is stuff that I like. Yeah. What was your question about Halloween?
I love it. I love it. Well, I think you answered partly, but obviously you celebrate Halloween. What was Halloween like for you though growing up? I know you didn't grow up here
Oh no, I
where
didn't have
Halloween is
Halloween growing up.
what we know as.
Yeah, no, no, no. I didn't have Halloween growing up. I started doing the whole Halloween thing when I moved to LA. Yeah, I mean nothing. It's just like what you saw in movies. There were some things like I don't even remember if it was Halloween, but when Juan of the Dead came out in Spain, there was like a zombie walk for Juan of the Dead in a couple of places at Sitges. They do their zombie walk, and I got to open that, like do the inauguration speech of that zombie walk that year, and that kind of thing, but nothing like Halloween. And right now, I just enjoy it. It's like now I have kids, so it's a bit trickier because I used to like. The last time I went, I think last time I went as Michael Myers. No, last time I was just Death. But because one of my kids wanted me to sort of dress like that, so it was just like some demon death kind of thing. The previous year I was Michael Myers. The previous year I was Ghostface. But I have to take it easy because I have kids now. So I'm pretty sure this year I'm gonna have to do some kid stuff and go dressed as Luigi or something.
Do you like the family costume, something that the kids pick out maybe? So what's been your favorite since you have been celebrating? We always ask everybody your favorite costume that you've worn, and then also your favorite candy or treat.
Favorite costume that I have worn. I think once I was a oh, one of the Fury Road Soldier Boys. How do they call the? I don't remember. I don't know. It was nice just to walk around shirtless and yeah, this is my costume. Um, that was a fun one. Um, I don't remember, honestly. It's like I always make plans, but I always end up going as very conventional movie villain.
Yeah,
I wish it could be, I'm gonna try to figure that out this year because, and this is something that has happened, like that I have talked about with my previous film. Um, we really don't have any Latino horror villain,
right.
and I would like to. I would like first we have to fix that, and second, I would like to dress as that because, like, yeah. In the meantime, I dress as Michael Myers and I don't know, I looks like some sort of plumber or something. So I have to find the Latino one and stick to that.
That's a good point. You need to bring us the definitive Latino slasher, I think it's
Yeah,
time. Yeah, it's an idea whose time has arrived for sure.
yeah.
Awesome.
We,
And did you say a favorite Halloween candy or treat? You have a favorite treat for Halloween?
I don't because try to stay away from sugar around Halloween, and it's so hard because then the kids get so much stuff, and it's almost impossible. And then you have candy for the next 6 months. But yeah, it's not like I have some favorite Halloween candy treat.
That's probably the better choice, the healthier
I
answer
try
for
to
sure.
be. It's like as much as I love it, it's very annoying because then you have buckets of candy and the kids only want the candy, and the only reasonable thing to do is to eat the candy yourself so they don't eat all that candy, and it's terrible.
It is. It's a vicious,
Uh,
sweet but vicious cycle.
yeah, it is.
Well, Alejandro, thank you so much for taking the time again to talk to us today. This has been awesome, just getting to know more about you. And The Inheritance it's out July 12th, and we definitely recommend it. I enjoyed it a ton. Great job on that. And since every day is Halloween, instead of saying goodbye, I always just end by saying Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween to you too.